Good evening. I'm in Houston, and I had a dream, and I thought I had the right notebook here, and I don't think that there's any way of just pray and obey. Okay, if you don't obey, then it will happen. I think that one thing I've heard the Lord say that's prevalent is, if you don't believe, I will shut your mouth until it happens. And that's from John the Baptist's dad not believing the angel, and his mouth was shut. He was mute until John the Baptist was born. And then he said, you're going to call his name John, right? So rather than where your mouth is, that's usually where your heart is. That your heart speaks what your mouth speaks. They're attached. And there's so many voices out there that have already said similar things, but they haven't seen it quite the way God showed me. And so I'm going to release my vision from 11/13/24. I did receive it at night as a dream, and I woke up with so much peace. I saw us in war, where planes came over and dumped what looked like some kind of gas in large amounts out of the back of the jets as they flew very low. It reminded me of the of the chemtrails, but it was very low, and it was heavy gases that distributed along the ground and went into the lower lying areas. And people were dying. Crowds that had come to see, that were interested in watching. When the war comes, don't go to watch. Ascend. Go to your prayer closet and ascend into the courts of heaven, and in the under the shadow of the Almighty, as Psalms 91 speaks. Quote the Psalms 23 prayer. Don't go to watch. Those will be saved. And I saw that Biden and Harris administration was still in office. The Biden-Harris team sent military in, and they took off covers from the manholes on even man-made gas-holding chambers that were just under the surface, as big as a Walmart. And many of them, there was more than one. There was, I don't know how many. I saw 3 in front of me, but I felt that there was more. And they were under the surface. They were the size of Walmarts. They caused mass death even more than the planes that released the gases from the back of them. And they took the lids off, which were parking lots. So they had cars parked on top of these lids. And they did not take the cars off before removing the lid. And the cars flew everywhere. And they did remove, when they were they did not remove it so that the cars flew onto unsuspected bystanders, causing more death and destruction. And I started collecting some of the trash debris and metal mesh and cylinders to use as plant guards and guides for vines, like grapevines. I was not told how the transition. I just suddenly saw that the Trump and Elon Musk team was then in command. I saw the gas, this dangerous gas, was still there, and I was getting closer this time as Elon Musk boasted that they work in and with hazardous gases off-world all the time, and we could come and see them evacuate the poisonous gas with no loss of life. I saw astronaut teams of 2, 3, and 4 picking up cars slightly and moving them over the handrails and sliding them into parking areas on the other side without bumping anything. Then they put some small jetpacks on an 18-wheeler all over and synchronized them and lifted it way up into the air above the nearby Walmart and gently sat it down without running over anyone. And I was only 2.5 feet away, and they were showing off. And they did not warn the people so that they could realize that they were now much safer with Trump, Vance, RFK Jr., Elon Musk team. I was so sure there would be losses and debris from the war, even as there was when Biden and Harris and the UN armies were operating in the US, on our U.S. soil, that I came up short on my plans of picking up debris to use as grapevine structures to put in my wine vineyard. These are the verses that came up. Micah 4:4, and every man will sit under his own grapevine and fig tree. Zechariah chapter 5, and in the basket that is going out, this is their iniquity in all the land. And then jumping to the next part where the angel's speaking. Then I lifted up my eyes and saw, behold, 2 women. And then jumping again, the wind was in their wings, and they had wings like the wings of a stork. And they lifted up the baskets between the earth and heaven. And the angels said, they are taking it to the land of Shinar, Shinar, to build a house for it. And then jumping to Revelations 14, verses 3 and 4. No one could learn that song except the 144,000 who had been redeemed from the earth. Jumping again, who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. These have been redeemed from mankind as a first fruits for God and the Lamb. So these are men that follow Christ closely. And they not only follow Christ as the disciples, but they follow Christ in the glorifying of their bodies in order to do this great work that happens where the basket, the iniquity is put back in the basket in Zechariah. Jump into verse 6. Then I saw another angel flying, jumping again, and an eternal gospel to proclaim to those who dwell on the earth. So this is not a worldwide rapture or worldwide judgment, because after this shaking thing of where some become sons of God, the shining ones, these that have the wings of storks to put away iniquity from the land, there is going to be more preaching of the gospel, the eternal gospel, to every nation and tribe and language and people. Verse 8, fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great, she who made all nations to drink the wine of passion of her sexual immorality. So it may not be your sexual immorality, it may be her sexual immorality. Proverbs 30, verses 21 through 23, talks about the shaking. It's different versions, say the different things. But to me, I noticed that it had the shaking in the version I was reading. It had the shaking of the earth, the sky, the sky and the waters. And who is doing that? To me, it makes me think that King Yeshua and his bride, the 144,000, shake the earth by revealing that they are the followers of Christ Jesus, and they are the sons of God, glorified, the first fruits of Revelation 14. I believe that this is what's going to shake the nations into waking up to who they really are and to remembering. And then I was going to say that I have seen in the spirit a wing of a stork that was used as a hand to hand me something in the spirit realm. So I saw something that was very similar to the words that are here. And I wrote that Zechariah 5, verse 9, combined with Revelations 14, verse 8, is a good prayer template for taking down Jezebel, or this queen of iniquity, and putting her into a box or a basket and bringing her and separating her from the earth. So if you go back